guys, this is Sandra here again, and today I'm going to film a video that hopefully will turn into a series, and I'm going to call them Chatty Tuesdays, where I'm going to talk about a topic while I'm doing my makeup, and I'm planning on not really mentioning the products I'm using or going through the processes. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing, I'm just going to watch while I talk about a topic that I feel is worth mentioning. And every product info will be in the down bar below, but also I'm going to put it on the screen so you can still see. And I'm not sure I'm going to film this video every single week, just as often as I feel like I have something to talk about. So I'm planning to talk about this week about Eurovision, as it just happened last week when you're watching this, over the weekend, and the semi-finals on Tuesday and Thursday. But also I would like to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. We're down to the last 4, and I'm someone who followed the Drag Race since, I don't think I watched season 1, but since then I watched every single season that came out on Netflix. So that's something I'm really interested in, to see how it pans out. And next week I think I will talk about Game of Thrones. I don't want to do that this week, just in case someone hasn't watched it yet. And also I haven't watched it yet, I'm waiting for my boyfriend so we can watch it tonight. And you know, you get the gist. Whenever I have something to talk about that I feel is important, or not really important but just exciting, I will sit down while I do my makeup and chat about the topics. And I think that's fairly exciting, so you know, let me know what you think about it below, and let's go ahead. Oh, before we start, I'm just gonna mention, I know I didn't say what I'm going to use, but I'm going to use the Too Faced Pretty Rich palette. I tried to use it once before, or well, a few times, but I haven't really got along too well with this, so we'll see how we get along with it this time. And yeah, that's it. Let's go ahead. The first topic I'm going to talk about is Eurovision. The semi-finals were on Tuesday and Thursday last week, and then we had the finals on Saturday. And as every single year, I'm not exactly happy with the outcome. I never fully agree with the end results, although last year's winner, Netta, with the song Toy, if you follow the Eurovision, you know the song. It's really, really catchy. So that one I was quite happy with. It was a good song. Other than that, most of the years I don't fully agree with the final results. Let me know how you feel about it. So this year Eurovision was held in Tel Aviv in Israel. It seemed like the place where they held it, the arena, was a beautiful, beautiful modern building, and as always the crowd was, you know, ecstatic. They were dancing around. It seemed like they had a jolly old time. And I have to say, I'm really, really jealous. I keep telling my boyfriend that one year I would love to attend Eurovision and be in the crowd and dance along, and you know, have the full experience of being there for the semi-finals and the finals. I would love that. But yeah, the contestants this year. So I missed the first semi-final, which was on Tuesday. If you didn't know, well, I assume most of you don't, I'm from Hungary, and my country was in the first semi-final, so I missed it, so I don't know fully well how that first round was. But my country didn't get through this year, which, to be fair, didn't happen many times. I googled it afterwards, and fun fact, Hungary went to Eurovision 17 times, and out of those 17 times it only happened on three occasions that we didn't qualify. This is being one of them, so I was quite gutted about that. We sent the same guy who we sent 2 years ago, when he ended up, I think he was 6th or 7th. I'm pretty sure he was in top 10, so he was quite good. And a lot of people's critiques were that his song was almost the same this year, and as far as I know, he was only singing in Hungarian, so maybe he could have, you know, translate it so it's a bit more Well, I guess it's easier to understand for other countries. It was actually a really nice song. I preferred this song to his previous one. This time he was singing about his father, and I think the lyrics were beautiful, but obviously if you don't speak the language, which, let's be honest, many people don't, it's not gonna come across, but never mind. So at the end I watched the second semi-final, and then I watched the finals, and I'm not sure how I feel about the end result. This year the winner is the Netherlands with a song called Arcade, and actually the song is not bad. Someone mentioned, I think in the semi-finals, that the song is one of those songs that in the beginning it's like okay, and then the more and more you listen to it, it sort of grows on you, and I have to agree with that. It does. So, you know, initially when I heard it I was not too sure about how much I like that song, and I've heard a lot of people praising it, and they were saying how it will probably be a runner-up this year and it will win, blah blah blah, and how many people love it. And I was listening to it thinking, what? This song? Like, I'm not sure about it, but you know, we'll see. And then I heard it a second time, I'm like, okay, it's actually not bad. And then the more I heard it, the more I liked it. But still, it was not my favorite song. My favorite song this year was North Macedonia. Now first of all, the name threw me, and we did a bit of Googling, and it turned out that the country, now it's not going to be fully accurate, so please, if you know more about it, feel free to correct me, but the country had some sort of fight going on with Greece, as apparently there's a part of Greece that's called Macedonia too, and I think, now this is the part I'm not sure about, Macedonia was part of Greece, or I don't know, but the whole point is that they had to change the name of the country and the flag of the country, and now it's called Macedonia as of the beginning of this year or the end of last year. So first the name threw me. I'm like, what do you mean North Macedonia? Since growing up, I always knew the country as Macedonia. I traveled through that country when I was around 14, so it, you know, it threw me a bit. But no, it's called now North Macedonia, and I really loved their song anyway. You know, it doesn't really matter in terms of like the song, but you know, little history lesson thrown in there, even if it's not too accurate. But yeah, I really loved their song. The song was called Proud, and you know, there were no 100 dancers in the background, there was no fancy visual effects in the background either. It was just this woman in the middle of the stage singing, and I really liked it. But sadly she didn't win. She was winning for a long time after, like halfway through voting of the, oh dear, my English is really broken today, hold on. What's it called? I can't remember the word in Hungarian. What is it? You know, there's a jury, and then there's people's votes. So halfway through the jury's voting, she was winning, and then she was still in the top 5, I think, at the end of that. And I was really hoping that the people's votes will work in her favor. Unfortunately, it didn't, which I'm quite sad about. I love that song, but to be fair, I like more theatrical, dramatic songs, although I love dancey songs too, so you know. But unfortunately she didn't win. Now another song I really loved this year was the French song. I don't know what it's called now, sorry, I'm horrible with names, but basically she was singing most of the time in French, which I don't speak, but in the background she had her lyrics in English on the screen, well, like the most important sentences anyway. And it was basically about accepting everyone the way they are, and you know, respecting and loving each other. And I think that's a really important message that, you know, more people should practice, and I was really applauding her for bringing that to Eurovision. And also the way they were interpreting it. In the beginning of the song, there was a ballet dancer who was not exactly your stereotypical ballet dancer. She was not tall and slim, but she was a bit more on the bigger side. But she was amazing at dancing. Like, let me say, she was still really graceful, and her moves, she was amazing. And then after that, she had another dancer who was a bit more closer to your typical ballet dancer, as in like aesthetically she was closer to it, and it was just an all-round really nice song. It was good to listen to. It had an amazing message, but I don't even think they ended up in like top 10. I don't know what happened to France. It just didn't happen this year. And then after that, who else did I like? I also really liked Switzerland this year. It was a guy called Luca, if I remember correctly, and his song was a bit more of like a party song where you can just dance around to. I really liked that song too, but again, they were nowhere near the top. Another country who surprised me was this year Italy. They had like quite a party song too. Now that one was okay. It was quite okay, but nothing that impressed me majorly. But they did really, really well, and for a second I thought that Italy might win this year. But no, we will, well, I assume we will go to Amsterdam next year. I don't know. I would assume it will be in Amsterdam if it goes to the Netherlands, so we'll see. I would love to be there, but I'm not sure it's gonna happen next year. But one day I will go to the Eurovision finals. Just wait and see. I would love to be there. It always seems like such a great place. Oh, also, one thing we have to talk about, Madonna. What is Madonna doing at Eurovision? When they said it, I was like, excuse me, what? First of all, she has no connection to Eurovision whatsoever. Like, nada, zero. But also, well, I mean, it's great publicity for her. We know that Eurovision is aired, well, not all over the world, but you know, almost. It's all over Europe. It's recently in Australia, which I still don't understand, but never mind. And I know a lot of people are following it from the US too, but yeah, I know it's great exposure for her and for Eurovision to have such a big name on. I guess it was just an offer they couldn't turn down. But what is she doing? First of all, who knew she can butcher her own song? I mean, I'm sorry. So Madonna was singing Like a Prayer first, which, how can you butcher your own song? I'm sorry. That was just horrible. There was loads of notes that she didn't quite hit, and I just don't understand. Madonna, you retired once, you disappeared. You should have just stayed there, enjoy your life, and that's my point on that. Then she was singing her new song, which I can't even remember what it is called. Is it called Future? Future? Is that what it's called? No, that really didn't impress me either. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just don't get it. And then also the interview with the guy who she was singing with, I don't remember his name either. Again, bad with names. He had a half sentence where they asked him how it was working together with Madonna, and he said that, you know, she's such an iconic person. His mother grew up listening to Madonna, and they were like, we're not sure that's what she wanted to hear. But you know, that performance, I felt like it was a bit tragic. But if you feel differently, let me know in the comments below. You know, we all have different opinions, so who knows. I just felt like she could have done so much better. Like, at least if you're planning to come back, put a bit more effort into it. That was a bit of a miss for me. And also, I just thought I'm gonna share some of my favorite Eurovision songs with you from over the years. Now they're mostly from like the last 5 years, I want to say, maybe 5-10 years. And I'm gonna link my Spotify playlist below, where you can listen to other songs as well that I've added throughout the years. One of my all-time favorites, although again it's fairly recent, is Conchita Wurst. Now I know that she is more of a controversial personality. I personally couldn't care less of how she looks like, although I have to say she was looking absolutely stunning. Now obviously a lot of people couldn't get past the beard. I'm someone who, you know, watches Drag Race, so that I don't care that much about the beard. The song Rise Like a Phoenix was amazing, and I was listening to it for days and days and days. I loved that. It always reminded me of the James Bond movies for some reason. I thought that song was brilliant, and actually that was a year when I was happy with who the winner is. I thought that she deserved that win. It was a great song. Now I'm not sure how much of her winning is actually thanks to the fact that she had a great song, or it's more about the shocking personality. That's something we never know when it comes to Eurovision. But I still feel like it was amazing. I really loved that song. Another song that I loved throughout the years is Euphoria from Loreen. Now both of these songs, both Conchita and Loreen, won the Eurovision, and I feel like those wins were, you know, fair. I loved both of those songs, especially Loreen as well. I feel like that song just brought a really different vibe. It was a bit more ethereal, a bit more, it's just a bit different, I feel like. I really liked Euphoria, and again, that's still a song that I happily listen to even now, and not much to say about that. Another song, I think it was it the same year as Loreen? I'm not sure, but the song is called Apricot Stone. Now that's the only song I can never find on Spotify. I don't remember the name of the singer. Maybe I will have to Google it and try to search on Spotify based on that. But it was from Armenia, and the song was called Apricot Stone, and I used to absolutely love that song, and I had it on repeat for days and days and days. It was just such a catchy song, and you know, again, on stage it was not overly dancey, it was nothing over the top, it was just an amazing song, and I really liked it. Unfortunately that song didn't win. I'm not actually sure in what place they ended up on, but that was a great song. Then another song I loved, I think it was from Serbia, and it's a song called Molitva, and I actually don't know that song from Eurovision, but I had a lady in a Hungarian talent show who was from the Hungarian part of Serbia, and she sang that song in half Hungarian and half Serbian, and I love the song already in Serbian, even though I don't understand the lyrics, but then her translating it and singing it in half Hungarian brought the song even closer to me, because this way I actually understand a bit of it. It's a beautiful song, and actually it's quite old. I think it might be actually over 10 years old. It's I don't know, it's just every time I listen to it, you know when you get that like fuzzy feeling and like a song gives you goosebumps? Do you ever have that? Is it just me? That's what that song is doing to me. I just love it. Another song that I love that I'm pretty sure it won Eurovision. I'm sorry, I should have done a better research on this, but I just want to share the love of the songs with you. Oops. The song is called Hero and it was sang by Charlotte Perrelli, and it's just one of those empowering female songs. And yes, just give a listen to it. If you like those type of songs, you will love this. I feel like it's a bit similar to Euphoria. Well, it just gives me the same feeling, so maybe that's why I feel like it. And then I have one more song to share with you, which is called When We Were Old by, oh hold on, let me cheat, Eva Sassima. I can't pronounce that name, I'm sorry. Just YouTube it or go on my Spotify playlist. It is from last year or the year before. I'm pretty sure it's from last year. And I just remember her standing on stage, really simplistic, romantic background. And basically she was singing to her husband or fiance about, you know, the times when they're gonna grow old together, and it's just such a cute, relaxing love song. And I'm pretty sure that the husband comes to the stage at the end of the song and gave her a cuddle, and it was one of the sweetest moments in Eurovision I've ever seen. It was just really heartwarming to see, and I just loved that. It was really cute. Oh, also another thing I wanted to mention about Eurovision. What do you think about Iceland? Now, I don't want, again, not many people are watching my channel, but if you do and if you have an opinion, please, I don't want any fighting in the comments section. Basically what happened is that at the end of the program, when they were telling the groups how many points they got in the people's votes, when the camera cut to the Icelandic team, they were just holding up a Palestine flag, and I thought that was really insensitive. Now, I'm not gonna go into politics, and I'm not gonna go into whether I think well, I'm just not going to go into what I think of the matters anyway. I don't want to make it politic, but no matter what you think of the matters between Israel and Palestine, I don't think that's something that should be brought up on Eurovision. If you don't agree with what's happening, then just don't go to Eurovision. I don't think that's a time and place for voicing your opinion on this. For me personally, since I was a little girl, I was watching Eurovision, and it was always, you know, a time for a family where we sit down together in front of the telly and watch this program and listen to different countries. And it's all about different cultures coming together, different countries coming together, and basically just celebrating happiness and accepting each other. And it's all about, you know, different cultures having fun together. That's what Eurovision is for me. And yes, you have to stand up for what you think is right, but at the same time, this is a family program, and I don't think this is the right time or place for the kind of action that they did. So that for me was a bit shocking to see, and me and my boyfriend were just sort of looking at each other and going like, no, they did not just do that. And the crowds were not happy either. They were just booing them out. And on the internet, if you read about it, there are different opinions going around. So, you know, that was a really controversial moment of the show. another topic I wanted to talk about was RuPaul's Drag Race. As I mentioned in the beginning, I've been following basically every season that came out so far, and you know, I have my favorites. We are coming now up to the final. We are on top 4, and am I happy with the outcome so far? I don't know. It will depend on who wins. Now, in last episode, if you're all caught up, you know it was really rather dramatic. So in this season we have a couple. Well, they are dating. So Brooklyn Heights and Vanjie Mateo, they are dating, and they had to lip sync against each other, which was really dramatic. I was dreading this moment the whole season, and of course it's before the finale when it happens, of course. To be fair, at that point I was not too sure who I want to see going home. I like both of them very, very much, but unfortunately Vanjie had to go home. So Vanjie is someone who was on season 10 as well. We are on season 11 now, and she was the first one to go home. And basically how she became famous is that when she was leaving, it seemed like she had a bit of a blonde moment and she forgot her own name, which is Vanessa Mateo, and she just kept saying Vanjie, Vanjie, as she was like backing out from the stage, and it became a meme and it was spread all across the internet, and it was such an iconic moment. So they brought her back for season 11 and she made it to the top 5. And the more I've seen her on Drag Race, the more I love her personality. She's great when it comes, not necessarily singing, but rapping. She's really, really good. She's a great dancer, and I did like her personality. The only thing I would say is that she's not that great of an actor from what I've seen, and also I think what she needs to work on is giving like a speech, because whenever it came to a longer talk, I don't think she necessarily got her point across perfectly. But you know, it's something that you can always work on. So she left, and now in the top 4 we have Silky, Nutmeg Ganache, we have Brooklyn Heights, we also have Akira Davenport, and oh, I need a bit more, so that's not enough foundation. And then the last person who we have there is Evie Oddly. Now, out of these 4 people, I have 2 favorites. Akira Davenport, I'm not that bothered about. To be fair, for me, she's the one person who, if she would have left, you know, right in the beginning, I wouldn't have mind. I still wouldn't have mind leaving her. There is not one moment really where I will remember her. I know that she won a challenge, an acting challenge with the police and stuff. That, yes, she was great in that, but to be fair, she's not, I don't know, she's just not that memorable in my eyes. Now, you know, feel free to comment if you love her. For me, she's just one of those characters that I'm not too bothered about. Silky, I don't know. Obviously she's in the top 4, so she can be that bad, but I feel like her big personality got her to where she is now, but she's not necessarily, I don't want to say she's not talented, because she is, but I feel like her fashion sense is not quite there, and I don't know, I do agree sometimes she's a bit too loud, she's a bit too much, she's a bit too over the top. So she's just a bit altogether too much for me. Now, two of my favorites, as I mentioned before, are Brooklyn. I like her. I think part of the reason why I like her so much is because she, well, I guess he, was a professional ballerina, and she always incorporates that in her performance or in her like runway somehow. She is proud of that, and in that aspect she has a really clear style. She is always really graceful on the runway, how she moves. She showed many talents throughout the program. Well, not the snatch game, that was bad, but other than that, you know, she was always great. And I don't know, I just like her personality. She is always just so graceful, which is something I really like. I need a bit more down there. And then another person that I would quite like see winning is Evie Oddly. She is just, well, like her name suggests, she's a bit odd, but in a great way, like in the best way possible. I wouldn't say she's different to the point where she's oh so unique. I remember when I first seen Sharon Needles, and now she shocked me a great deal, and I feel like since then, you know, you can't shock me that much. Like, that was the first time I've seen a bit of a gore and a bit of something different that was a bit less pageant and a lot more odd. I don't know how to explain. If you follow the Drag Race, I'm sure you know what I mean. But I like it when a queen brings in something a bit different. I think that's why I like Brooklyn as well, because even though, yes, she's more of the typical beauty queen in the sense that she always brings like a more pageant style look. You know, still she was, I'm pretty sure, the first queen who walked point on the runway, twice now at this point at least. But you know, she's still more on your traditional beautiful side of the scale, whereas Evie Oddly is always ready to up her game and bring a strange look to the stage. Like last week in this last episode, her runway look, that really did blow me away. Like, it was beautiful. For some weird reason it reminded me of Jessica Rabbit. I think because she had boobs out and her hair was red, even though it was not like a Jessica Rabbit kind of red, but it was red. And she had 3 eyes, so she painted on a third one on her forehead, but also she had 3 boobs and 3 bums, but it was just all really well proportioned. Like, it was not, you know, it was not like a grotesque, horrible looking thing. It was really pretty, and I really liked that. It was beautiful, and I feel like she would be someone who deserves it. Also, her dancing skills are unbelievable. She can, now she has a disease, she keeps mentioning the name but I always forget. Again, names, I'm horrible with them. But she has some sort of disease where her joints are really flexible, so she can really contort her body into all sorts of different shapes, which I know that in some episodes it landed her in a situation where she was like walking on crutches because she just really hurt herself, and it takes her body some time to get back to normal. But she is just amazing, and I would be quite happy to see her being crowned. Out of Brooklyn, Evie, I think I actually would be happier with Evie Oddly winning it. Just because I feel like she's a bit more unique, even though, again, as I said, Sherry Needles already brought a different kind of drag on stage. But again, we had it with Milk as well, so you know, there were a few drag queens who, instead of typical beauty looks, brought something a bit more out there on the stage. But I feel like all of them have a really different style. If you remember, Sherry Needles was a lot more gore, then Milk was a bit more avant-garde, and then you have Evie Oddly, she's really known of her like body contortions, but also I feel like she's still really high fashion, although I think Milk was too, like, but in a really different way. I don't know. If you know all of them, please help me explain, because I'm not great at explaining it. Really excited to see who will win this season. So as per usual, next week we will just have a reunion while all the queens from the season will sit down together, talk about memorable moments from the season, and also, you know, if there are any issues between some of them, they will talk it through. I'm sure the whole Silky situation will come through, because a lot of queens were accusing her of being too loud and too much out there. I'm also pretty sure that Ariel Versace will come up, because when she came back to the show, she accused the other queens of stealing her wigs. So I think that will come up too. Let me know, what do you think comes up. It will be interesting to see. But also, you always look back at really memorable fashion moments, or if there was anything really funny. Sometimes you see bits from the Untucked too, which I never really watched Untucked, so that's something that I feel like is a bit too much for me, so I never really watch it. But sometimes you see bits of it in the whole recap episode as well. And then the week after you have the finale, where they have this big show. And I'm always excited to see who I can spot in the crowd, because a few times you even see YouTubers there like Tyler Oakley or Joey Graceffa, or even, you know, actors and actresses. So it's always interesting to see who's a fan of the show. And also, I love final performances. There's usually always like a dance number or a singing number between the last 4 queens, but also they always have a chat. Oh, itchy nose. They always have a chat with them. Well, they have a chat with Rue one by one, where they talk about why they think they would be the right queen this year. And also sometimes they get messages from their family or friends if there's someone who was maybe not that supportive in the beginning of them being a drag queen. One thing I'm gonna say about Akira, which I didn't know until last episode, and one thing that, even though she's not one queen for me who's so memorable, but one thing I admire is that it turned out last episode that she is looking after her little nephew, who he is the legal guardian for. They didn't go into as why she's the legal guardian, but all she said is that something happened and they have a choice of either taking the responsibility and looking after him, or he would have gone into foster care and just, you know, get enrolled in the system. And he thought that he would not want that for his family member, so he adopted his nephew. And he said that at the moment, I believe the nephew is 2, and he doesn't know about you know, a career and this whole drag job or career that he's running, only because he's just too small to understand everything. But he said that he's sure that at one point he, you know, he will introduce the nephew to a career and explain everything that he might want to know when he's a bit older, which I totally respect. I think it's a really nice way to think about it, that, you know, a 2-year-old might not fully understand what's happening. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with drag. For me, that's a form of artistry as well. But I do agree that when you are 2 years old, when you're at that really young age, you might not fully understand what's happening or what exactly it is. So I think it is a really nice way to handle it, to just wait while, you know, just wait a little bit till he gets a bit older. So I applaud, you know, Akira for that. He said that he was never viewed as the typical male figure in his family, with him, you know, doing drag and dressing up as a woman and performing. So for him to being able to do this, I think it's really important for him, or it came through like that in the podcast that they were recording. And yes, I do applaud for him for this, for sure. Yeah. Other people who I liked from this season on Drag Race. Now I have to say my two favorites were, as I mentioned before, Venji and Brooklyn. And obviously Venji just left an episode before the finals, and Brooklyn is still in there to win it, so we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'm not sure I loved many people, as in personality wise there's no one really who stood out that much. But when it comes to like aesthetics, like how they looked and their style, I really liked Ariel Versace. She was beautiful. And someone else who I loved in that sense was Plastique Tiara. Like, you can say anything you want, but you can't deny that she was one pretty lady. And I loved the look as well that Brooklyn gave her when they brought them back. You know what? I was wondering what's gonna happen this year, because everyone keeps talking about the Snatch Game, but for me, the most iconic part of the show is always when they have different people who they bring in, and the contestants have to put them in drag and create like a strong family resemblance. And before that they brought in straight guys, they brought in influencers. Oh my god, last year Tyler Oakley, oh, I loved it. I really liked it. But also they brought in army veterans. I think they brought in who did they bring in? I think one year they brought in oh, what do they call them? Like people with dwarfism. I'm always so conscious of like not saying the PC word. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, people with dwarfism. And it's always interesting to see how different people will bond with the people who they bring in. But obviously this year they already knew the contestants. They just brought back some of the people who were on the season with them, so there was not that much bonding left to do. It's just whether they got along with the people or not. That was quite interesting to see. What else? I'm pretty sure I'm done talking about everything. So what I might do, I might just finish my makeup quickly, not off camera because I still want you to know what I use, so I'm just gonna probably speed up the process so you can still see, and then I'm gonna be back to recap and say goodbye. you'll die, you stupid boy, stupid boy. Guys, this is the finished look. Just a really glittery eye, orange lips, really glowy cheeks, a bit more on the bronzy side, and that's it for this week. If you like this format, please let me know down below, and also give it a like. And yeah, just let me know in general what you think about this idea of sitting down and talking in this format every week. Also, the idea was heavily inspired by Bailey Sarian. I'm sorry, I'm horrible at pronouncing other people's names. She has a series every Monday when she's talking about murder mysteries, so obviously it is really different from what I'm talking about. She's doing it every week. I'm not sure I will have it every single week, but it's always going to be on Tuesdays. And obviously I'm not talking about murder mysteries, but that's where my idea came from, of having a series where I'm just sitting down and talking about whatever I want without really talking about the actual makeup application. And I just thought it's a really nice way of incorporating something a bit different into my channel, where I can talk a bit more freely about other things that are not necessarily beauty related. And I just thought it's really fun. So let me know, please, what you think about this. Also, I got quite a few subscribers lately. Now obviously my channel is still really small, but you know, coming from essentially 0 to almost 40 subscribers is still a bit surreal that people actually want to follow what I talk about. So thank you very much if you subscribe to my channel lately and supporting what I'm doing here. And I think that's it for today. I will talk to you soon, and bye bye for now. Have a lovely day.